everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of Monday Mensaje, or Monday Message, our weekly energy forecast. Thanks for being here if this is your first week, and if it's not, and you've actually come back to listen to my shenanigans, listen, I'm even more grateful, okay? So yeah, I'm honestly really excited to dive into the energy for the week ahead. But before I get going with that, I do just want to remind you quickly that my books are open for personal readings. So head to theglamspirit.com. I'm super excited and grateful that I feel like I have the mental energy and the time to provide some guidance for those who need it, because let me tell you, I know that if so many new chapters are opening up for me, that it can't just be me, right? So I am grateful to be able to help someone else out there. There's tons more info on my website, and I know that so many of us are so busy, and it is hard to actually set a time to have a face-to-face meeting. So these readings that I'm going to do are actually going to be typed for you and sent in a PDF to your email. That way you get to read them at your leisure, reread them, and really just hold on to the information. So just had to put that out there. And yeah, let's get going with the energy for the week. So I gotta say, I'm letting you know, I'm excited. This week's card that represents the energy is the Ace of Wands. I am here for it. I'm excited. And as you know, or maybe you don't know, so let me not assume, all of the aces in tarot signify new beginnings. So this is right on track with our beginning of the astrological new year, which happened about a week ago. So we are in this phase of starting a new chapter. We are experiencing new beginnings. And what I like to remind myself and so many others is every new chapter can only be, started by closing an old one, closing the last chapter. So know that with all of the endings that may be occurring in your life, those endings, I promise you, are acting as the foundation for a new beginning to come to you. And I know this to be true. I've experienced this time and time again in my life, and I've been, blessed enough to be able to help other people through the same kind of thing. So for those of you out there that are experiencing a lot of shifting in your life right now, a lot of endings, a lot of uncertainty and unprecedented times, know that you're not alone. I'm with you. And that's how I know you're going through it, because I've said before, and I'll probably say it again until you're sick of hearing me say it, is that as the collective, we mirror each other. And if you found me, you're specifically probably mirroring others in this group. And so we're going through it together. We're not alone, even if it may seem that way. So many people are going through these endings to form new beginnings. And that's why this message was so important for me this week. When I saw this Ace of Wands, I was thrilled, comforted, excited, because we need a little bit of hope. We need a literal guiding light, because the Ace of Wands, not in this deck I'm looking at, but sometimes the wands literally are on fire in the imagery. And so the first thing I saw in my mind when I pulled this card was a torch, right? And I feel like this Ace of Wands is the torch, right? That is sort of like a guiding light through this tunnel that's going to lead us to the new beginning. And I'm here for it. I'm happy and I'm excited. So let's get into some of the other stuff that came up for me to pass on to you. Okay, so first things first, bottom of the deck, I always share, is the Nine of Swords. So I'm using the traditional Rider-Waite deck. If you're not familiar with the imagery, pop over to my Instagram, the Glam Spirit, same thing, and check out, what it looks like. But the Nine of Swords it has a person pictured in bed, and they have their face in their hands, And so whenever I see the Nine of Swords, I always think about somebody who is experiencing a lot of mental exhaustion. Maybe they're emotionally exhausted. Someone who's going through it, going through hell right now. And like I said, I feel like so many of us are either still in that energy moving towards our Ace of Wands beginning, or we're we're still in it, or we're like just feeling like we're moving past that, right? So maybe you've been going through a really tough time mentally, emotionally, and when we are experiencing so many of these shifts and changes in our lives, like, listen, change isn't easy. Is it beautiful? Yes. Does it lead to more happiness at the end of the day? Yes. However, it's not comfortable and it's not easy, and changing isn't like I said, it's not the easy thing to do, but I always think it's worth it if you feel it's necessary, right? So maybe you've been in your head about some of these changes you're experiencing. Nine of Swords also makes me think about someone who might be second guessing themselves, right? And that's what happens. Sometimes when we're going through really hard shit in our lives, it's easy to second guess ourselves. It's easy to get lost in the negative what ifs. It's easy to get lost in the really scary possible scenarios, because like that's usually where our brain goes, right? So what I suggest to you is, like, when you start having those thoughts, I like to say I'm in my mind, it's like a slideshow, right? And I like look at these thoughts I'm having, and then I just like let them pass. I don't continue to open that folder and continue to go down into all of the what ifs that can like build on top of that. I observe the thought and I let it pass. I don't judge myself for having those thoughts. I'm working on that part, we all are. But yeah, so it's like, on one hand, sorry, I'm talking crazy because there's so many downloads like popping in my head at the same time. What I'm trying to say is, first of all, don't judge yourself for having negative thoughts, for going down that like negative thought train for a second, for second guessing yourself, for all of those things, right? Another thing that's coming to me is like, also don't judge yourself for being hard on yourself, right? Allow those thoughts to be there, observe them, and then let them go, right? Because do they serve you? No, they don't serve you. And so I don't want you being hard on yourself about being hard on yourself. And I don't want you being hard on yourself about being sad and worrying and not knowing if you're doing the right thing or going down the right path. Like, it's okay. It's human to feel that way. But what I am going to say is that once you give yourself a little bit of time, because you don't want to rush your feelings, like, feel how you feel, let yourself feel it. Don't judge yourself for feeling how you feel. And then that's how you can start to like let those feelings go. Let them move through you, right? You don't have to continue carrying them. I sort of like to envision these intense emotions sometimes as like a mist. And this mist is approaching you, and you like let it hit you, and then it moves past you, right? Like, these thoughts and these worries and these doubts and these fears aren't physical things that you need to carry with you while you continue on this journey. It is a mist that you walk through, right? Like, don't let these things unpack and live here. So that's like a strong thing that's coming through. And I know that that's really helpful information, not just for you, for me too. Because like I said, these changes can bring up a lot of insecurities. They can bring up old wounds. They can bring up like inner child healing that we need to do. And a lot of this change normally, like when it starts to get mixed up, is, like I said, bringing up stuff that we either thought we had healed more and we realize we have more healing to do in that area, or it can highlight something that you didn't even know you need to heal, right? So from so much of this change, not only comes a beautiful new chapter once we get through the tough part, but also can bring about these large waves of self-healing. And I think in some ways that's why the universe does this for us, right? It just sends us this like big punch of energy to shake up our lives, because when we're stuck in the complacency and in these stagnant places, it's hard to continue healing and finding the level of happiness that we feel we deserve and ascending on your, journey and growing and all these things, right? So sometimes these changes come in to allow you to reach a new height, a new level of, finding your purpose, of happiness, making sure that your life is what you want it to be, right? So when I saw this Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck, I was like, okay, yeah, big messages here about not judging yourself for being in your head and feeling how you feel, but also recognizing like that's part of being human, but it doesn't mean that your thoughts are accurate. And that's like a huge, huge thing to remember. Those scary thoughts you have in your head are just those. They're scary thoughts. It doesn't mean those things are reality. Are those things oftentimes one possible outcome? Yeah. But what I am challenging you to do is reframe those things into good what ifs. If you're going to go down a train of what ifs, make sure you're going down a good train of what ifs. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, what if everything crashes and burns and it's awful? But what if everything works out exactly as you want it to? Or even better, what if it works out so much, like I said, so much better than you even ever thought it could? Oftentimes, the universe has us close a chapter and takes things away from us to offer us something better that we can't even see yet. Oftentimes, we are deserving of more than we ever ask for, of more than we ever even know is possible to receive, and more than we believe that we're worthy of at the time. And so I'm reminding you that, go to the good place of the what ifs. What if your wildest dreams come true? What if things beyond those wild dreams come true? And listen, you're never going to know if you don't go through these changes. So I hope that comforts you a little bit because, like I said, change is not easy. It can be scary, especially like in this Western society. I don't think like as a whole, we have a great handle on change. Like that's why that's like the stereotypical thing to say. It's like, oh, change is like scary. So many people rather live a life that they're not happy with than go through changes. And I have to say, I can't relate. No matter how tough things go, I refuse to settle, because I know that real happiness is available and out there to all of us. We just have to work towards it. And again, I'm not saying any of these things are easy. I'm just saying that it's possible. So yeah, get out of your head. That's, really long-winded way of saying that. Don't judge yourself for being in your head, but also don't live there, let those thoughts come and go, and then focus on the good stuff. Focus on what you want to happen because you are creating your reality around you. So if you're only ever thinking of the negative and the bad possible outcomes, those are more likely to be manifested and created in your reality. So the more you focus on what you want to happen, the more you visualize it in your mind, right? And feel in your body the way that you want to feel, that's how you bring those beautiful things into reality, right? Visualizing it, feeling feelings of gratitude for already having it, knowing it's on its way to you, right? That's how you bring those things into reality. What you focus on grows. So make sure you're focusing on the good things, the things you do want to happen, the things you hope happen, the feeling that you want to have in this new chapter. How do you want to feel? What do you want your life to be like? Focus on those things, right? That deserves your attention. That deserves your mental energy, not all of the fear and, negative things that your mind is trying to tell you. So that was like a major part of this message, even though the Ace of Wands was our energy for the week. Like I said, when I saw this Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck, I felt like that was just so important to say because how can you step into this new chapter with this Ace of Wands if you're still living in your head, if you're still living in the past, if you're still second-guessing yourself, second-guessing the things that you want and how you're going to go about it and doubting yourself, right? Like, you need to know that the things, the places, the people you're passionate about, that passion lives within you for a reason. I really do believe it is like one of those guiding compasses, right? Like our heart and our intuition that lead us where we need to go. So how are you supposed to step into this new chapter, into this new, beautiful, passionate beginning? Because when we have the Ace of Wands, that's talking about passion. And so that's why I'm bringing it up. Follow what you're passionate about. What is it that ignites the fire within you? What is that? Take some time this week to think about it. Because if you're just thinking about the negative and you're in your head like this character is on the Nine of Swords card, then you're not going to be able to even figure out the answers to those questions. You can't focus on what you want to call into reality and the beautiful new beginnings if you are too focused on all of the ways it could go wrong, right? So with that being said, now let's move into more of our Ace of Wands part. I just wanted you to know how they're related, right? You have to move through all those blockages to get to where you're strong enough to enter this new beginning. So with the Ace of Wands, okay, a bunch of things came through. First is, like I said, if you've been feeling, so right, I said Pisces season was great for dreaming up things, right? So this is sort of like, okay, a couple of those things you were dreaming about, let's figure out with, this Aries energy, it's kind of like lit this fire within us to actually feel like we have the physical energy to really get things done. So where is your torch going to lead you? Pick a couple of those things that you were thinking about or dreaming up during Pisces season and see what you are the most passionate about. Use that passion as an inner compass, like I said, to move forward, because that is where your success is going to lie. If you have been feeling stagnant as far as like creative ideas, creative projects, this is a symbol that this week, this new vibrant energy coming in could be providing you with these unexpected ideas. Or maybe you were in your head thinking like, I want to move forward with this idea, but I there's like something there that you couldn't get past. Some sort of like, if only I could figure this part out. Well, maybe this is the week that you're going to figure that part out. You're going to find that missing piece. It's going to shift your perspective and allow you to open your mind to see more solutions in front of you. That's what I love about the Ace of Wands, right? It's this like renewed passion. So if you have been feeling a lack of passion in your life, as far as, like I said, creative projects, new ideas that you're, hoping come to fruition, if you haven't been feeling very passionate and you've been feeling kind of blah about it, this is a week where something might be stirred within you that sort of reignites that passion for you. And this is also talking about passion as far as like with others too. Like when I see the Ace of Wands, I always think like passionate new beginnings. So maybe you haven't been feeling a lot of passion as a whole in your life, whether that has to do with work, side projects, like artistic ventures, relationships, whatever the thing may be. And so this is signifying maybe there's some passion coming in for you this week. A reignition of maybe you remembering what it is that makes you feel passionate. What are you passionate about, right? This is also another indication, it doesn't have to do with the pentacles or anything, but sometimes the Ace of Wands too, because it's this strong energy of like a new project, could mean you have some money coming your way, right? Like maybe one of these ideas that you're just going to get in your head. Like I just see what they were showing me was like a light bulb moment, literally. So like cliche, I feel like. But yeah, this light bulb moment you could be having this week, whether that's about work, personal life, whatever it is, this light bulb moment could lead you to a place where you are finding that you're in a project that becomes super lucrative, right? When you follow your passions, following that inner compass, it's going to lead you to a successful place. You're not passionate about these things because it's not going to be the right move for you or because you aren't going to be successful in it. So continue following those passions if you're looking for like some extra income or some financial gain. That was just one of the major things that came through. And you know why I also believe that's true is because when you do work that you're passionate about, it doesn't really feel like as much of a burden as doing something that you don't like. So if you're stuck, this too, I'm thinking now with this Nine of Swords energy is, listen, maybe you've been feeling stuck in your current like a situation with your money or your job. So this is telling you, go back to those passions. Don't find yourself in a place, if you are, blessed enough to have options to change your job or redirect yourself. Maybe this is a little bit of a wake-up call for you. Are you happy with what you're doing? So this could bring in this week not only the spark that gets you to the next thing that you're passionate about, but reignites a passion within you that's going to lead you to a super lucrative place. Those were really like the main messages that were coming forward. And also the last thing I'm getting is sharing your passion. So maybe because, the Ace of Wands is this hand that's coming out of a cloud and he's holding this large wand. But maybe you are the person that is holding that wand. Maybe you're offering this to somebody else. So share your passion this week. Find your passion. Reignite your passion. Dive into things that make you feel like your creative ideas are flowing, and know that this wand's energy is all about manifesting and using your magic and using the tools that you have within you to make things happen, right? Hoping is only the first step to creating the life of your dreams. It's that combination of hoping, knowing the best outcome is coming for you, and then also in the physical realm, working towards it. So make sure you have that like trifecta, because if you're just hoping and waiting for something to fall in your lap, I don't know how long you're going to be waiting there for. So with this new Aries energy, and we have like such astrology wise, like it's such a good time to get things going in this month of April, because we don't have any planets retrograding, and that's going to end at the end of April. So my point is, the next 4 to 5 weeks is a phenomenal time to start something new, or to continue with a venture, or allow the universe to let things unfold in your life. If this was ever a time to trust the universe right now and everything it's bringing you, like seriously, this is it. This is the time. So open your mind. And I think like the last strong message of this part of the collective energy reading that I'm doing is about knowing your worth. Know your value. Know that you are worthy of living a life that you love. Know it's possible to live a life that you're passionate about, and know that you are worthy of receiving these blessings from the universe, from your ancestors, from your spirit guides, whatever it is that you believe in this world. Because in order to receive these beautiful things, you need to know that you're more than worthy of receiving it. And I'm sitting here telling you that you are. I know that you are. Everyone is just trying their best. So know that you're worthy of all of the things that are coming into your life. Don't even waste time second guessing if these things really, like, if you're like, oh wow, like all these good things happening, like, oh no, what's the catch? There's no catch, okay? Just own it and show gratitude. Be grateful for these beautiful things in your life, because I'm telling you, gratitude and giving back to others are the two biggest ways to have more beautiful things flow into your life. So these are just like a bunch of tips that just came to me now that I felt like I should share. Okay. And then quickly, so I guess like that's the energy for the week ahead. I'm excited. I am feeling this passionate new beginning sort of like awaken within me. So I'm right there with you, just so you know. And I'm just as uncertain as you are about what this is going to bring, but I have a good feeling about it. So I'm just going to like go with that, right? Okay. Second half, I'm going to be calling, so like every week, pretty much, I try to pull some oracle cards for the signs. I have like a bunch of different decks with a bunch of different themes, and I've sort of like been titling it different every week, but I think we're going to stick with messages from the universe. I think that's what we're going to do. So we'll have like the weekly energy forecast, and then at the end, I'll do like messages for the signs from the universe, and then the theme of what that message is going to be dependent on the deck that I choose. So yeah, just kind of a heads up on that for those of you that have been listening and want the update. All right, so this week I'm using this deck called Notes from the Universe on love and connection. And not all these messages specifically have to do with love. A lot of them are just beautiful messages. So yeah, let's get into it. Aries, I pre-shuffled and I'm all ready to go. I just like haven't looked at them yet, so I'm excited. Aries. Oh, I love this card in this deck. Time for a love fest. Oh, Aries, it's your season. You are probably feeling fired up. I swear. I did not say that on purpose. That's so funny. Yeah, so for you astrology people out there, that's an extra little funny joke, I guess. But yeah, you're probably feeling fired up. You're probably feeling in your element. So time for a love fest. This really goes with our weekly message too. Like, what are you passionate about, Aries? Time to show the world, show yourself, and just like have a bit of fun and yeah, bring more love into your life. I'm excited for you for that. Taurus, let's see. I'm just like marking them off as I go. That way I don't lose track. Taurus, if they once loved you, they still do. Wow, that's a really passionate message. So Taurus, I hope you're okay. I hope you're comforted right now, because this is like, what I'm getting from this is a little bit of that nine of swords energy, that like in your head energy. Yeah, so I'm sending you some peace, healing energy. But yeah, just know that, sorry, just some messages coming through. Just know that there's so much love around you, more love than maybe you even realize right now. So open your heart and be comforted by that, right? Those in your life that have once loved you will always love you. And yeah, maybe this also means too that you need to be the one to share a little bit of that love right now. Reach out to somebody that you think needs a little bit of a hand. And this is also making me think about like bonds resurfacing. So maybe there's a friend you haven't reached out to in a while, or maybe is going to reach out to you. And just know that once a connection's there, there's always a connection there. So yeah. Gemini. Ooh, your card is super straightforward. It says forgive. So Gemini, I mean, maybe that's that Nine of Swords energy for you, is like you being in your head about forgiving somebody. But listen, forgiveness is one of the biggest lessons that we can learn in this lifetime. Everybody is just trying their best. No one is perfect. And so often we look back and we evaluate situations with like a new mindset. And maybe that's what you need to do right now. So if something presents itself this week that you sort of want to turn away because of these feelings of anger or resentment that you're harboring, remember to lead with love and compassion. Remember to forgive, right? Like you don't have to carry that burden of being angry at somebody or holding on to things that just in the scheme of life just don't really matter anymore. So open your heart, and maybe this is also about like forgiving yourself too. Don't be so hard on yourself, Gemini. Like you are doing the best you can. So forgiveness could be like a theme coming up for you this week. Cancer, you know what to do. Okay, listen, we all know Cancer's one of the most intuitive signs. So this is reminding you that you know what to do. Follow your intuition. Like I was talking about earlier, this inner compass that you have is never, and this is for everyone really, is never going to steer you wrong. Your inner intuition, your higher self already knows the way. It's up to you to quiet your mind and quiet all of the like interference in order to tap in to what you know is already true, right? So this is your reminder that you already know what to do. So I hope this is like, I feel like there's someone listening where this is going to be like a specific sign for you. So there you go. You're welcome. Leo, things are not as they appear. I love this card in this deck. It has such intense energy to me. So Leo, what I'm getting from this is if things seem like they're not going your way, hold out a little bit longer. Have a little bit more trust, because at any moment, things can shift for you in a major, incredible way. So that's the message I'm receiving right now, is like if you feel like down on your luck and you've been that Nine of Swords character in bed, like face and palm, like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? Keep going, because there's going to be a break right around the corner. And like I said, like any moment is a moment where we could experience a miracle. So open your mind up to miracles happening in your life. One of my favorite affirmations is I am a magnet for miracles. So maybe you want to use that this week. Virgo, those you love you. Oh, that's so beautiful. Those you love you. That's a really great message. So Virgo, maybe this is your sign that you have to like open up that emotional well, right? Like share your gratitude with others. Tell the people that you love how much they mean to you. And if there's a Virgo out there listening that is sort of feeling a little bit unsure about where they stand, right? Like maybe you've had like a uncomfortable conversation or something like that. Just know that like you're not alone in those feelings. That's just what came to me, like some sort of uncomfortable conversation with like a loved one or a friend. Know that whatever is going on is going to pass. And no matter what disagreements come up, what distance come between people, those people that you've been there for, no matter what differences you may have or how much time or space you may need, at the end of the day, your people are there for you. And so don't forget that. Okay, Libra. Oh, I love this one too. This is a great card. Start where you are, Libra. So whenever I get this card, this kind of tells me that the Libras listening, you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. And if we're talking about this in relation to the energy for this week, that makes sense, right? Because you're probably experiencing a lot of changes. Maybe you've been in your head a little bit about some of these decisions that you have to make, and you're at this new beginning and you're thinking, where the hell do I go from here, right? Because it can be overwhelming to enter these new chapters. And so that's why I love this card, Start Where You Are. To me, I always take this as a sign of like one thing at a time, one step at a time. If you are in your head about a specific scenario, just start where you are. How do you feel right now? And go from there. You don't have the next, or you don't need to have the next 2, 3 weeks, months, years planned out. Just take it day by day and think about how you feel in the present moment, right? Use that inner compass of intuition within you and take it from there. You don't have to have everything figured out. And there's a lot of comfort in just admitting that to yourself. You don't have to have things figured out, but like we were saying this week, follow your passions, follow your intuition, and that is always going to lead you to the right place. Don't be overwhelmed because, like I said, if there was ever a time to assume that the universe is bringing you the best possible outcomes, this is the time for that. So trust, okay? Scorpio, that you have options is meaningful. Rock on. I love this. Scorpio, this card often makes me think about gratitude because it's sort of pointing out that like you be grateful and celebrate the fact that you're even, if you've been in your head, right? Like I've been saying to some others about decisions you're making, be happy you even have options to make these decisions about, right? Like be grateful for the fact that you're not stuck in one place. So for you, this is like all about reframing your mind. So maybe this is like, instead of being overwhelmed by all these options and these decisions you have to make, be excited. Get into that excited energy of, wow, whatever I choose is going to help me create my new life, my reality, right? So that is what I was thinking for you. Sagittarius, sometimes the good is hidden. Wow, that's very powerful. Sometimes the good is hidden. This to me is always about finding the good within the seemingly bad. So whenever I get this card, it's like, okay, I'm looking at the situations that I'm in. I'm looking at what's coming up in my life. And yeah, that might be hard. Yeah, it might be painful, especially again with the messages we're receiving for the week. This goes perfectly in hand with that. It's like, always try to find a little bit of good in everything that's going on. Truly, that's like how I live my life because I call them buoys, right? So like I'm always using these like very far out ways to explain how I'm feeling about things. But in the ocean of my emotions, right, I find that finding the good, no matter how small it is, provides like a buoy, a little life raft, like something for me to hold on to until I can swim to the next one and find it. So in those times where you're feeling burdened and kind of like, what the hell is going on? Look for the good stuff. Look for what is working out, like I said, no matter how small, because once you open that door and focus on what is working, it's only going to make you think about everything else that's working. And I bet you when you walk through that door, you'll find even more to be grateful for. Okay, Capricorn, you have what it takes. Oh, that's a great message. Capricorn, listen, if there's anybody, like any of the signs that know that, it's you. Like Capricorns, stereotypically are so resilient. They persevere. And I have to say, like as a Capricorn sun, yes, of course, I agree with that. We get through things and we love a challenge. So I love this message. You have what it takes, Capricorn. Keep going. And maybe you are the one that really, really needed that reminder. So get out of your head, like I said, with that 9 of Swords energy, and step into your new beginning, knowing that you have what it takes to create the reality that you want for yourself and to get through anything that forms as an obstacle in your way, right? Because you always have the ability within you to get around that obstacle. Aquarius, you will be surprised. I love this. So Aquarius, this is similar a little bit to, was it Leo or Virgo's message? I'm not sure. You will be surprised. So maybe you've been feeling like, oh my God, what the hell is going on in my life right now? Listen, like I was saying to them, at any moment, a miracle could present itself. At any moment, things can turn around and change for you. So keep your mind focused on all the positives that could be on your way. And the universe is saying you will be surprised about how things are going to work out. So I love that. That sounds like a beautiful new possibility coming in with this Ace of Wands. And last but not least, Pisces, create space for new love. Okay, this is crazy because I pulled some messages from the universe from this deck for Instagram. So it was like same concept, but obviously this was like over the weekend. And Pisces got this card too. So Pisces placements out there, I should have mentioned this, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, but this is for Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Pisces placements out there. This is a strong message coming through for you. Create space for new love, okay? So creating that space might mean, having to mourn, old love. If they're saying create space for new love, maybe you have to mourn current situations you're in, past situations. Creating space for new love could also mean healing, right? You want to be, when creating space for this new love, you want it to find you when you're in a good mindset. You want it to find you when you are not going to repeat old patterns in relationships and self-sabotage and all those things, right? So in creating new space for this love, first of all, keep your eyes and your mind open to how this love may find you. Keep your mind open as far as the fact that you're worthy of this love. And also think about what it is that you would love to continue healing. That way, when you're in your next relationship, you are starting at a better place. And also for the other Pisces placements out there, this could be a new signifier of like a chapter in a current relationship that you're in. So maybe you're making space for a new chapter in the relationship that you're in, like again, with this Ace of Wands, maybe your relationship is going to feel like the passion is being renewed in it. So don't assume, Pisces placements out there that I'm talking necessarily about a new thing. For some of you, I sense largely that I absolutely am. And maybe you needed this sign again to sort of hit that home for you, right? And maybe that's what you've been in your head about. However, for some of you, this could signify you entering a new phase, a new chapter, a new beautiful, bright, passionate beginning in the current relationship that you're in. And that takes work, So yeah, I hope that you received the messages that you needed this week. Yeah, so check me out on Instagram. I'll be there posting as usual. And I'm really happy that you're here. Like this video, and I will see you here next week. Bye, everyone. Wishing you a beautiful, wonderful continuation of this new year. Bye.